where we will difficulties in the midst of our journey and move toward forward progress. This program is not meant to replace any form of therapy, and you are encouraged to seek out a mental health professional if necessary. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Joining me today, I have a guest. So after I do my usual introduction, I will introduce this awesome, amazing person that is on the show with me today. So before I do that, I want to thank you and welcome you to Emerging Ease with me, your host, Keisha. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to put them in the chat. Also, you can email me at any time, any day of the week on emergingease at gmail.com. Also, if you miss a show and would like to listen to a show or would like to listen to a show again, please go to the bachelornews.airtime.pro. We're also on YouTube under Bachelor News Radio. So come on in and let's talk. Our topic today is I wanted to speak to someone specifically. Sorry, my allergies are acting up today. Golly. I wanted to speak to the uh, discussion from last week, where it was the focus on African Americans dealing with racial trauma by many people moving back to various countries in Africa. So, our guest today is one of my sorors. She is a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and she is Liberian American. So she lived sometime in Liberia, sometime in America, but then made the choice to move to Liberia. And so her name is Elizabeth Weedy. Um, she is amazing. Is an experienced chief executive learning officer with a history in community communication for development of industry. She's skilled in project, process management, public speaking, community mobilization, relationship building, and has strong business development with a passion for storytelling, human development, and performing arts. So I want to welcome, I'm going to call her Liz. We're just going to use Liz for short because Elizabeth is going to mess me up. So I want to welcome Liz. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me, Sora. I'm excited to be here.
Of course, of course. So, as I was talking about last week, my husband and I have been talking about moving to Liberia, and so at first, yes, I'm excited. So I will be in a conversation with you a lot, so we can get stuff, make sure we're doing stuff right. And so I started looking at other videos and started realizing so many other people are doing the same thing, not just Liberia, but many countries. There's one article I read, a lady bought several acres in Rwanda and started a farm. And I can't remember, I want to say she may be from the East Coast of the US. I was like, golly, and everybody's story is the same. Like, you're here in America just trying to live, trying to make it. And it's like, exactly that face. Exactly. It's like, golly, can I just, I've done my education or I've done whatever training. I'm trying to just stack money, put something away for my kids, enjoy life. And it's just all the stress. So what has been your experience? Because I know before an adult, you did have some time in Liberia. So what's your experience been?
My experience in Liberia or being
Well,
here?
let's start with Liberia first. Let's start with the good stuff first.
Yeah. I am a first generation American Liberian. My parents had me here in the United States in the 80s when they were finishing their graduate studies on full scholarships. And they told me from the beginning, like, you're not American. You got that eagle in your passport to do what you need to do to go back home.
Yeah.
And I was made aware of that very early in my life. After they had me, I went back to Liberia with my grandparents from 6 months old to about 7 years old. And then, came here in first grade, and it was a huge transition. And as young as I was like, I don't like it. We're working hard. I see my parents, they were in school, they were having multiple jobs. They barely had any time to just be with us. Whereas in Liberia, we had people in our homes that were serving us, and serving themselves, because like living with us, they got to go to school and have things that they weren't exposed to, so they were gladly family members, but people that helped.
Yeah.
I went to work today. I drove into the office, I cooked. I don't think any of that is fair. I had to use my brain, I had to use my money, and it's just a different lifestyle in Liberia. The level of ease for the work that we do doesn't measure up to life abroad. So I am 100% here for the Black Sit movement, and I encourage all of my brothers and sisters to find a way to get up out.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, that's the other thing. I never heard of Blackfoot. And that had been popping up in some of the YouTube videos we had started watching. And I was like, what is that? What is that? And so then when I finally looked it up, I said, oh, okay, I need a shirt because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm
Yeah,
trying to do that.
100%.
So, like, when you think about your life now as an adult, because you recently moved back from Liberia,
Yes.
not too long ago.
2019, right before the pandemic hit, is when I.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. When you moved back, what was that culture shock or change like for you? What's the difference here that you experienced?
Um, it's so strange to say this, but these comments are funny. It's really interesting to grow up here as a Black woman
Yeah.
and then to go to Africa and be treated like a white woman, if that makes any sense, right? So that was the culture for me. I grew up here, metropolitan born, in the trenches. I'm a hardcore worker, and I get home and I'm on this socialite status that I wasn't prepared for. People are bowing and wanting to serve me and just treating me with this revere that I was like, oh, I don't like it. So it took me a while to adjust to that. I went
Uh-huh.
into a leadership role. And again, coming from here, you're more team oriented.
Yeah.
Asking my staff, what do you guys think? And they're like, whatever you say, madam. And I'm like, no, I need you to use that degree and tell me what let's knowledge share. So that was really actually a struggle for me. It took a lot of team building and, lots of reiterating that everybody's opinion is valid. I'm not more special because I'm coming from this land that you all admire. I'm here because this is where I want to be, and I want to build this, and I want to build you. My work in Liberia was really challenging because I came in as a humanitarian worker. And again, that has a lot of white savior all around it. And then when people are already looking at you as such, it's really hard to not act like Jesus and try to save them. But my job was not to temporarily help them and write about it and get paid like most people. I wanted them to be empowered, to be
Yes.
independent, so that when I leave here, you don't need to wait for the next Red Cross or
Exactly.
organization to come and help you. I don't want you to be dependent on help. I want you to be able to help yourselves. So that was a challenge because they were like, no, we just want money and help. We don't want to learn how to do it. We're
Yeah.
not doing that. But a hard worker will do the work, and I'm a workhorse.
Yeah.
I was in there and like, we're going to do this, and you're going to empower yourselves to be economically resilient, psychologically resilient, and not just wait for the next airplane to fly in and parachute in with temporary aid. So that
Right.
was a
Right.
challenge, but it worked.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. And for those who are tuning in and they don't have the video, Angela and Mike said, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. Fed up with racism. But
It's too much.
that is such a huge thing. It's like the thing that I've noticed, even when I got to speak to you the other day, and then in the WhatsApp groups that I'm in, and the videos and the commentaries I've watched, the thing is that one gentleman put it so perfectly. I'm able to exist as just a human being. I
Yeah.
don't have to think about being a black man. I don't, his wife didn't have to think about being a black woman. They didn't have to think about what is our black child going to experience. It's just, I'm here. And
Yeah.
then for folks to be like, when you come in and, you may come across some people that, think, hey, you're from America, you're rich, so give me this. But overall, the majority of their encounters, everyone that I've watched and things I've read has been like, we're family, come on in.
Mhm.
You know, how can I help you? How are you going to help the community? And let's move forward. So I think that's amazing. Now, one thing that I thought originally before I started doing my research and reading and watching things, because I finished the book yesterday and I'm gonna have to tell y'all about this book. I was like, oh MG, these are my folks. These are my folks.
Mhm.
So, and the things I was looking at, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to like cut everything down to the bare minimum so we can save, 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 save. And of course, that's a good idea whether you're here or planning on moving. Um, but the cost of living isn't so bad. And there's a lot more jobs that I'm starting to find, but you just have to kind of be patient and look for what you're wanting to do. But I think cost of living in Liberia for a family of four is 1,300. And I said, this has got to be incorrect. And
No,
it got to break it. Huh?
that sounds about right. I mean, if you're looking at somewhere with running water and electricity, about 13 to 1500 is really nice. I mean, at one point I rented a place for $500 that had those things. It depends on where you are. But when I moved more into central Monrovia, my rent was about $1,200. And yeah, I had running water, electricity 24 hours. I had people working for me, nonstop
Mhm.
drivers, nannies, cooks. So you can really thrive at work, right? Because you don't have to do all the other things that we do. I was just pissed in traffic today. Like, how are y'all expecting me to? What is all of this? Then I got to go cook.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, too much.
And get kids together for the next day and, everything. But it's like, so I was like, okay, this cannot be right. So I looked at several different things and it gave the breakdown of what that 1,300 covered. And I think it gave like an average on the rent between inner city Monrovia and like on the outskirts.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh. And then the food is cheaper,
Oh yeah. By far.
more affordable.
And
And
health.
actually, if we look at it, it's going to have less preservatives because they have a lot of things that are made in Liberia. I had no idea.
Yeah.
No, it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Liberia.
Better produce. Far
Yeah,
better. None of the preservatives. You're eating real chicken. You're eating
yeah,
real chicken and real fish from the sea. Not like
yeah,
the genetically modified foods that we're being fed here and mutating our children. It's
exactly. And
it's a different
yeah,
world.
and it's
It's
crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, why did I not know about this before? Like, why now? So then I started looking at the industries, and because the only thing I knew about is diamonds. And that was because of the big stuff with President Taylor from back in the day. And I was like, okay, but I didn't know like rubber. And there was another one, I want to say seafood and something else. Like, I didn't know Michelin had a whole plant over there where they were making rubber. So the tires were dropped on if you're on Michelin tires could have literally been farmed from the rubber trees in Liberia.
Yeah, Firestone is a massive compound. They have a hospital, schools, living developments. Yeah, and they've been sadly, the country signed into a contract to, give away this huge resource, for dirt money. They didn't know any better. But yeah, it's still there and it's still very much thriving. The people that are working there, the nationals that are working there, aren't getting what they deserve. But it's still a better quality of life, for a majority. So I will say that it is a vast difference in social economic status. You're either rich or poor. There's not a
Yeah.
whole lot of middle class in between, and that can be really taxing on your spirit to see. So again, you're overwhelmed with the need to help, um, but you will learn quickly that you can only help people who really want to be helped. As
Exactly.
as sad as their lives are, you still have to understand that people have to want it for themselves before you try
That's
to
true.
help and save everyone. Yeah,
That's so true. And I mean, that's anywhere you go.
yeah,
So one thing too, well, before I bring that up, let me do my break part because I'm excited because this is the business. I want to make sure you all listen in on Friday from 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time when this week's featured artist will be The Whispers. I love The Whispers. Also, every Sunday through Friday from 8 p.m. to midnight, listen to Whisper Softly, which plays love songs in the Batchelor News Radio Network. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
You know, before Boost, our phone bill was obscene. So we switched to Boost and got lines for the whole family with unlimited gigs for a much more family-friendly price. It's nice to have a phone bill that doesn't require parental controls.
Your family deserves better. Get 4 lines for only $25 per line, each with unlimited gigs. Plus, get up to 4 free Samsung J7 perks with 6 months of Hulu, where you can stream all the shows everyone is talking about. All on the super reliable and super fast nationwide network. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
If you've got a clogged up nose, simply stuffy. If you've got a snuffly nose, simply stuffy. If the rest of you feel fine, but your nose is out of line, give your snozzle what it needs, simply stuffy.
Simply Stuffy, from the makers of children's Tylenol. It has only the medicine your child needs to make a stuffy nose simply disappear.
If you want to smell a rose, get the stuff out of your nose. If you're sick or feeling snotty, simply stuffy.
Simply Stuffy. Use as directed.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. We have our special guest, my soror from Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Yes. We have Liz on, and she is talking to us about the Liberian and American experience she's had in life. Because I am so just excited. Like, if I had the ability to go today, I would have been gone. Wes said about 5,000 African Americans have made the trip back to Ghana and stayed. And that is so, thank you for that, Wes, for that number. I had no idea everybody was leaving, and then nobody called me, sent a note, a text message, an email. Y'all let me know when we're doing stuff, because I'm in. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I think it was the year of the return was 2021.
Yeah.
And I had not heard anything about it. It was either, I think it was 21, because it was right after the pandemic that kind of started lifting. And so I'm in Oklahoma. So I'm just going to go ahead and say things get to us a lot slower, especially African and African American related front to Oklahoma. So I hadn't really heard about this until we started doing our research. And then one of the comments that a person commented on in discussing their commentary about when they moved, it was a man and his wife and their 2 small boys moved to Ghana. And a friend of theirs had made a statement that, why would you leave America and move to a third world country? Mm-hmm. And so the guy was like, do you know what it means to be a third world country? And so when he explained it to the friend, he was like, a third world country is a place where you don't feel at ease. You could be harmed at any time. People are taking things from you. The infrastructure is broken, and you have limited ability to thrive. And so he said, now, does that or does that not sound like America? And the friend was like, floored, because he was like, well, yeah. Because at any time, you could be, anything could happen. Anything at all. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, America is a third world country socially. And I was like, I never really thought about that. I didn't even look at African countries as third world. That didn't make sense to me. But even some of the friends that I've talked to, they've been like, oh, Keisha, I don't know about that. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. So amazing. And then there was the question. I have a friend that's part Ghanaian, part American. Like, her dad came over from Ghana. He's like, no, he didn't move to Ghana. I said, I don't think I'll stay for Liberia, because of all the people I've met from Liberia, it's like family. Like, I've had a supervisor from there, and even to this day, I speak to him. He's like so cool. And I called him the other day when I was reading the book I was telling you about, and it's called Liberian Civil War, because I did not know anything about the Civil War. I knew that a descendant of my mom's family had gone back. Well, their great grandparents probably would have been after the end of slavery with the Back to Africa movement with Marcus Garvey. And so President Taylor is part of that family. And so I knew that piece, but then I started hearing about all the stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I need to claim him, because he was doing a lot. But the history was so rich and so interesting And I was like, oh wow. I had never. So hats off to you. So now right now you are back in America. But when I talked to you the other day, you were like, and so I'm going to go back.
I
So
must.
so what's the plan? What would you suggest for a person or a couple or a family even, and they're planning to go back? What are some pointers you would give them? Like, okay, start thinking about this or start doing these things.
Yeah, I definitely encourage research,
Okay.
finding out your lineage, and most people in the I'd say in the baby boom generation have a lot of land will to them. So it's a matter of finding deeds and older relatives that can help you find those things, but be well researched. And I would say just start reaching out to expats that are abroad to build that network and grow that network. Um, I didn't have a lot of inheritance. I had to rent and pay for places. I didn't have, my family's home to stay in because they were damaged due to the war. And I didn't want to fix them right away because I knew that I wouldn't be there long term, as I had my daughters. But I think the biggest thing is to have that network, to have a good amount of savings and to have your research done. So this trip I'm taking now is research based. My siblings and I are ready to retire our parents from the American workforce. They're at 70, so they're officially done working, but we're like, you're not about to sit out here and look out the window. You're about to go back home and thrive. So
Yeah.
we're looking at land to buy. And to start that construction, but we're going to be the ones to do that instead of our parents.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's a big part of my trip next month to try to put some things on ground. We have gathered deeds of the land that we do have. Sadly, a lot of things that have been willed to us have been squatted on, by family members and estranged people that we don't necessarily want to get into too much with. There's a lot of land for sale. There's a lot of land there, so we're not even going to get involved with, this is ours and we're fighting for it. Go ahead and take it. That's fine. And we're just building up that, but I'd say definitely have a strong network. Don't just up and leave like a lot of people do. And I understand how the frustration of living here can make you do that, but it's not that easy to find a job if you're not a national. It's not that easy to find a job anywhere, right? But I know that I had to be on ground for the UN positions that I did get. I didn't get them from here. I had to be there, interviewing and going in person to different functions in order to get those positions. So the network and the research needs to be really heavily done before getting on a plane. Having the financial footing to be there, having at least 6 months of your salary saved, would be the next best thing, because yes, things are cheaper, but there's a whole lot of inflation. And with your accent and skin, they're going to charge you more anyway, like you would in a tourist anywhere, right? They're going to look at you and be like, okay, you just come here, so we're going to eat really well. So yeah, I think the network is the strongest thing. Like you said, you have a strong sense of family with the Liberians. As traumatized as the people are, they are still by nature just very family oriented and will go out of their way to help you. So yeah, build that network and get the research done, but you still need to be kind of on ground to get things executed to your liking and to your standard.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. And Barbara said Black women in the United States are less likely to seek therapy out of fear that they'd be indefinitely institutionalized, true, and unfairly stigmatized. That's very, very true. And the thing is, with that, a lot of that comes from the racial trauma and the racial tension that we all feel every day. And with that weight on top of whatever else you have going on in life, and then physically and mentally, that can be a big, huge strain. But the thing too, that to return to the talking about people moving to Africa, black folks moving to Africa. Oh, it says Ghana has more advanced infrastructure than Liberia, more jobs for expats as well. I've heard that via the stuff that I've looked into as far as things we've heard, but it's not so far away for Liberia.
Mhm.
Liberia is literally up and coming.
Yes.
Some of the places that they showed, the resorts are amazing. Like, if I had known about those resorts, I would have never went to Mexico. So I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
those are amazing. But yes, that is true about Ghana. The thing with Ghana, though, is the land is more expensive than it is in Liberia because of that advanced infrastructure. And they still do experience rolling power outages, just like Liberia does too, from what I read and watched. The thing is that touched me to where I was like, okay, babe, this is us. We got to go. Was when one of the ladies was saying that she was out at the market with her son and she had to go to the restroom. So in America, you got to take kids and whoever else is with you that's too little to stand outside by themselves in the restroom stall. And so there, she said there was an older lady that said, "No, I'll keep him. You go in there and you take care of what you need to take care of." And that lady sat there and watched her son. Didn't say, "Hey, now give me something," but she was like, "I understand." And I was like, the amount of stress that will fall off of people just for folks saying, "Hey, I see you. I see that you can use some help. Let me just help you." And
Yes.
don't worry about it. That was amazing. I'm a crybaby nowadays, so that made me cry. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that can I go today? Please, can I go today?"
It is.
But we
It is
have a
second nature.
4-year plan.
It's definitely second nature to our people. I think I shared with you the nanny that I'm going back to try to bring over here, the girl who took care of my children. And granted, I went through a couple nannies, but when she and I connected, she was not playing with those girls. Like those are her girls. I had to make her go home many nights,
Oh,
like let them be sick. She's at the hospital spending the night. Like they will give their all. And
yeah.
as I said, growing up, I had family members who lived with my family because we were well off and they were going to school, but they served our family with so much diligence, with so much passion, because again, it was an experience for them too. If they're coming from the interior rural area and living in the city and going to school in the city, they're experiencing a whole entirely different life. So working doesn't seem like a chore because it's the quality of life that you're getting. The nanny that I had, of course, had exposure to, going out with us and having finer things because she was our nanny.
Yeah.
Like you're able to find those people that are diehard devoted to be a family member, to be with you, because it's a huge help to their lives as well as enhancing yours.
Oh my gosh, I can't even express how ready I am. Like we have our budget together. We have a 4-year plan, and when I say we're sticking to this 4-year plan, because given up my favorite drink is chai latte. So I'm giving those up because they're kind of expensive. And I was
Yeah.
like, we put that in segments too, and we're getting this. Matter of fact, when the sun is up, don't turn the light on because we're saving every quarter, every penny we can. Because when I say I want us to be set to a place to where we're able to go over there, we're planning to go in June of 23, so that we can, for one, vacation a little bit, but then the second part of while we're there will be like looking at places to buy, either land or buy a house that's already built, and to move forward from there and to see what job opportunities are there for me, for my husband. Because I mean, technically, if you do yourself decent while you're here in America, you could and save. That's the thing. Don't try to be all extra flashy and show it. You could actually kind of retire if you do yourself right in your late 30s or 40s over there and be okay and like have a hobby that may generate income. But then you're not all stressed out and worried about what's going to happen and this, that, and the other. Because, like for instance, and this is just to kind of close off in the field that I'm in. I'm like, gosh, I wonder if there's even the types of problems that come in, uh that I would see that same thing over there. I'm sure there would be mental health concerns because I mean wherever people are, there are mental health concerns, depression, if nothing else. But some of the things that people come in with now, it may not be over there. So I'm excited. And Liz, I want to tell you thank you so much for coming on today and for being with us and for answering questions. And I will be calling you all the time. So if I need to pay part of the phone bill, just let me know. I got you.
We're
Um,
good.
I'm so excited, and I'm thankful for you and being willing to share the information you have with us as well.
No, of
Um,
course. Thank you for having me.
yes, and so for everyone, I want to thank you for tuning in today. I hope this discussion has been a help for you in your life's journey and will continue to be. Remember that if you need to listen to the show again, if you have any questions, anything like that, you can tune into the show on the bachelornews.airtime.pro. Email me or join the Facebook group at Emerging Ease on Facebook. And thank you again for listening to Emerging Ease with me, Keisha, on the Bachelor News Radio Network.
Thank
See
you for
y'all.
tuning in. I appreciate you for taking such a time as this to participate in your personal improvement with Emerging Ease. I'm Keisha, your host. Remember that in everything, there's an opportunity to learn and grow. If you are experiencing a difficult time, please reach out to the National Crisis Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. And I look forward to hearing from you next week on Emerging Ease with Keisha.